Welcome to the Vault Studios NFL podcast, an Australian twist on all things NFL. The boys are cracking into a nice cold beer from Burnley Brewing. Let's join them.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the podcast. I'm your host, JA, and I am joined, as always, by none the other, Richard Garraway. How are you, mate?
I'm good, buddy. Very well.
I might sound a bit nasally. The common cold, not the coronavirus.
I said the Rona got you.
No, the common cold is going through my household. It hit my younger daughter the other day, and then it's hit me, and then I'm sure my older daughter's going to get it, and then I'm sure my wife will get it at some point. So can't wait for that. I'm just seeing into the future right now, but so I'm a little bit nasally. Apologies to everyone. Pretty massive week of football, but before we get into any of the nitty gritty, Richie, I said last week I've been enjoying this new Burnley Brewing beer. It is mango pineapple lager. Now, I know it sounds weird. It does not taste weird, Richie. It tastes excellent. So this is the one that Chloe, our rep from Burnley Brewing, said was her favorite beer ever. It is so nice, so good, so refreshing. It was a warm day today, so I'm having one tonight. So yeah, absolutely loving it. So thank you to Burnley Brewing. Secondly, our major sponsor for the studio, Breaking Oz Memorabilia. You can see their little icon up in the top corner if you're watching the video. Thank you to you guys. Right now, there is a break on their site for us. The Terrell Suggs helmet is there. $30 a spot, 30 spots. So for $30, you can win yourself about a $1,000 helmet. So get on that. Also, we announced the big promotion. What you need to do now, if you want to have a chance to win a signed, authentic helmet every month, you got to go to our Patreon. There is now a $10 a month segment or section, whatever you want to call it, called the Breaking Oz Memorabilia. And for that, you get into a break per month for a helmet, and you get a chance to win a helmet every month. So for $10 a month, you can potentially win, $800, $1,000 helmet, maybe more depending on who the player is. So pretty good deal. A lot of these guys, you're paying $30 to $40 to $50 to get into one of these breaks. So for $10 a month, every month, you can get in and have a chance to win a helmet. So make sure you head over to Patreon. If you're already a Patreon member at the $5 a month, if you want to move over, you can't. You've just got to cancel and sign up again if you want to. A few people have said they're just happy to stay on the $5 one. But if you wanted to move over for the $10 one for that chance to win a helmet, by all means, go for it. The more the merrier. And if you're a helmet collector or you want to start collecting merch, it's a pretty good way to start. So, and get over into Breaking Oz Memorabilia's group. All the descriptions down below. Patreon, the Facebook group. Get in there and put your hand in for this Terrell Suggs helmet and help sell it out so we can break that and give it away, give it to a new home. But that's it for the sponsorship talk. Richie, let's get into it. I want to launch just straight into a very unpopular opinion. I don't know how you're going to take this, but I'm doing it. Cam Newton is better at every other position than he is at quarterback. Why not? He's a way better running back than he is a quarterback. He's way better at running with the ball. And on the weekend, he got a catch. Now, they lost to Denver, shockingly. Lost to Denver, who didn't score a touchdown.
Disgusting.
I know. They lost to Denver. I think it was at home, too. Bad game. But Cam Newton, this is the problem with Cam Newton. And I know he's had a couple of weeks off with the corona stuff, but he's just not a consistent passer of the football. And he would be better off playing running back. He'd probably be better off playing left tackle. He's that big.
No, he wouldn't. I see what you're trying to do here, but you're wrong. He wouldn't. It's like that's a disappointing loss for the page to say the least. Me, I don't rate.
And Drew Lock did everything physically possible to give them the game back. He threw 2 interceptions in the last quarter. Did everything he could to help them win the game.
I'm so glad I was down on him. I feel like that's just coming through, and I'm still down on the Broncos. Yes, this is a good win for them, but I've got no faith in them whatsoever moving forward. This was tackling for mine. I thought the tackling from the Patriots was just awful today. On the weekend. Yeah, they didn't have a good game defensively. That they were able to be stout in the red zone, and I think was it McManus? Did he kick 6 field goals? That's pretty nuts. No, he kicked 9. Oh no, hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Take it back. 6. I can't do maths.
Come on, Richie. Come on. You're listening.
I was looking at the wrong score box.
It was the turnovers as well. They were able to turn over the ball a couple of times, and then the 6 field goals, including a long of 54. But just an odd one. And I just was thinking about it. Cam Newton, when he gets to run with the ball as a quarterback, that's when he looks his best. Every other time, he's just yeah.
I feel like he's not throwing in rhythm. I don't know if you agree, but
I have bad receivers too.
Yeah, that's certainly true. But he just seems to be rushing every pass, or he's trying to throw it as hard as he can. I don't know. It never looks like it's on time. Like he's behind in some way, so he's throwing it as hard as he can to make up for that. I don't know. I kind of agree with you. He just never looks comfortable when he's throwing the football.
Yeah, he's a quarterback, and he's the best when he runs with it, and that's what the Patriots are going to do this year. They're going to run him into the ground. They don't really care if he gets hurt, I don't think. I think it's a 1-year deal with him. But, yeah, it's interesting. They're going to have to then get a little bit more consistent, because all Denver did was just shut down him running the ball, and they didn't have an answer for it. And the receivers aren't great, other than Edelman. I like Edelman, but the others aren't great. N'Keal Harry looks like he's going to end up being a huge bust. But what receiver...
terrible pick.
Well, what receiver that the Patriots draft isn't a terrible pick? Honestly, they never get receivers right. They never draft that well, to be honest. But
they really need to get whoever scouts Pittsburgh receivers. Yeah, go get that guy, because he knows how to find receiver talent.
Yes, he does. He does. Now, I have to eat. I'm gonna have to eat some words here, Rich. I've got an apology to make, and. You know, I don't apologize very often, Richie, and we could get my wife to come down and explain that I don't.
Yeah, but even when you're wrong.
Even when I'm wrong. But I'm going to have to this time. I have no choice. 2 weeks ago in our Mulligans, I took the Tennessee Titans, which at the time were undefeated, and you said to me, you're taking an undefeated team out of the playoffs. And I said yes, because I wanted to.
But was it the Patriots in or the Browns in?
Patriots in. The Browns were already in.
Oh, okay.
Put the Patriots in. So it still might work out. The Patriots might make it still and not be the worst in the world. But I took the Titans out, and then they go and kick the living crap out of the Buffalo Bills last week. And then I know they were playing Houston, but they go back and forth with Houston in one of the better games of the year. Ryan Tannehill, this is the first kind of full game I've watched of the Titans for a while. Tannehill's really good, and Derrick Henry's even better. They've found a really good nucleus there for the offense. They were injured at the offensive line. They were still able to get done, get into overtime and get the touchdown in overtime. I like Mike Vrabel. He seems to be did you see Mike Vrabel? He didn't have any timeouts, right? So he intentionally put a 12th player on the field to get the penalty.
Yeah.
So then they'd accept it and the clock would stop.
Yeah, it was it's one of the smarter things I've seen.
To save 40 seconds, he saved on that thing, and they scored a touchdown to tie it up and go into overtime with 4 seconds left on the clock. So if he doesn't do that, the time runs out. It's pretty cool. So I owe the Titans, all the Titans fans, I think you're the real deal. And currently sitting at 6-0, 5-0, sorry, which is really awesome. And, the Colts are starting to show some fractures, which is not good. And the Texans are certainly gone in that division, and so are the Jags. So right now, it is 100% the Titans division to win. Now they've got to play the Colts twice still, so that'll decide a lot. But yeah, I was wrong, 100% wrong on the Titans, and I apologize to the Tennessee Titans.
How good's that Tennessee O-line? Often, Derrick Henry's a good running back, but he often wasn't having to avoid anyone until the second level. Yeah,
the Houston Texans D-line, other than JJ Watt, is dreadful.
They're not great, but still
it's all relevant.
Every week they perform. So
yeah, and Taylor Lewan, left tackle, got hurt during this game as well. Hopefully he's back next week. So they were doing it with a backup left tackle. I know after watching the Cowboys play today, Zach Martin got hurt today as well, Richie. They played with no starters on their offensive line today. That's what happened. I couldn't believe it. Apparently Martin will be back next week, but it's still not good. This is not good. Anyway, I'm not talking Cowboys tonight.
Because they suck.
They stink. They're exactly what you know what? The only good thing that's going to come of this is Dak's going to get paid, and all the people that said that Andy Dalton is better than Dak, they're going to have to be like, yeah, okay, maybe we were right.
I never said he was better. I just said you'd probably be okay. But the whole you guys put him in straight off the bat with Zeke was
Zeke. Hopefully this is a foot up the butt of Zeke to get him.
Well, he's not a fumbler. It was quite out of character.
I think he's in his own head. I think he was trying to carry the team on his own shoulders and put too much pressure on himself and fumbled the ball twice. Because from then on, he played really well. And other than his 2 fumbles, he played really well. So he's just got to relax. He can't do it. They've just all got to do it together. And the dumb thing is, they're still leading the division. They get to play Washington next week, so they're probably going to win the East still. It's insane.
It's ridiculous.
Going to beat the Eagles twice, and they'll win maybe once. They'll do it. Let's move on to your Bucks, Richie. They bounced back. We thought they looked dreadful last week in a loss to the Bears. Not this week. They have Aaron Rodgers and the red hot Packers coming off a bye and gave up a 10-point lead to start the game and then put 38 points on from that moment to win 38-10. I want to stay away from the offense. I think we both want to talk about this Tampa Bay defense. They are certainly the real deal.
100%. Levante David is a special football player. And one of the sneakiest players, JPP. He's playing outstandingly. When he first came back from the injury, I don't know if you call it an injury when you blow your own hand off.
Definitely an injury.
Either way, call it an issue. He was okay, but this year he's been exceptional so far.
Sue's been really good too.
Sue's been great, and even without Vieira, who got hurt last week, I think they still looked fantastic. That
was one of the reason about Vita Vea. We were very wrong about him.
Me especially. I was filthy at that pick, and I was so wrong. Wrong. He's turned out to be a really good player.
And you know what? I'm not going to get on you too much. Every big fat nose tackle that gets drafted in the NFL never ends up being any good in the top 10. He's certainly the exception to the rule.
Yeah, it tends to be edge rushers who turn out in those sorts of picks. But look, I think it wasn't that long ago that this defense was really ordinary. Last year, they were starting to I guess, come of age. Biggest problem is they were always playing from behind because we're turning the ball over so much last year. So people didn't notice how good that defense actually was because we were doing so much losing.
Yep.
If you go back and look at the DVOAs and those sorts of metrics that you get on defense, they were really high last year, and this year they're even higher. I think it's actually a pretty special group that can do some pretty good things. And if the offense, they've got to work out ways to get Evans going more in the field of play. As soon as we get in the red zone, we seem to just throw it to him.
Yeah.
On the field, he and Godwin, they've got to really work out how to get those two involved more. I mean, great. Look at the box score and, 7 different guys have had a catch. I'd rather see Evans and Godwin have 4 each, 5 each. They're electric with the ball in their hands. But I think the thing you put in the rundown, the most exciting thing for that offense is the continued improvement of Gronk. Everyone was laughing week 1. Oh, no tread on the tires, blah, blah, blah. No, he just hasn't played in over a year and had no preseason. He's building into the season.
He's looked a lot better the last couple of weeks. He looked just like he's moving a bit better. He looked so stagnant and stiff the last few weeks. And he just seems to be a bit more free-flowing. He hasn't played football for a year. That's a long time.
Oh, absolutely. So, I think obviously he had a really good game on the weekend. If he keeps coming along, because I don't know when OJ Howard will be back, if he'll be back, they really need him as part of that offense. So I think he's getting more downs because of that, and I think that's only speeding up his return to the game.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he's going to be. That offense is very. Did they get Godwin back yesterday as well, or is it Goodwin? No, it's Godwin that plays for them. Goodwin, one of them. Godwin. They got Godwin back, which I think makes it. He's number 14. Yeah.
I'm not sure what number he is.
I think they had. I saw number 14 running around that looked like him, but I didn't see his name. But he looked like he was making a bit of a difference. He's a really good player. Evans is banged up. I think they'll get him going. And Tom Brady's still learning a brand new system. He's been in a safe place for his entire, 19, 20-year career in New England with the same coordinator, running the same thing knows it inside and out. And Bruce Arians' offense is, from all reports, quite difficult to learn. So I'm not going to get on him. They're going to get better as the year goes on. That defense is awesome, and I think the Bucks are going to be there. They're going to be there. They're going to be in the playoffs, I think. Whether they're
definitely
to win the division, I think they'll be in the playoffs. So, we talked about the Chicago Bears last week. Do we need to start taking them a little bit more seriously? Like, we liked Carolina more, and they went and beat Carolina. Like, they're 5-1. They're now leading the division after the Packers loss. I feel like I don't think we owe them an apology because they still haven't really beaten anyone that good. But I just think we've got to start, like, at 5-1. They're making the playoffs unless they have
100%.
They only can win 2 more games. They're in the playoffs. They're only going to win 7 games this year.
Yeah, almost certainly.
So I don't know. I feel like we have to start taking them a little bit seriously. Their offense is dreadful. Their defense is really good. Nick Foles has given them some stability, though. He's given them less mistakes. He's given them a guy who's obviously a good leader. And you can say a lot of things about Nick Foles. He's been a winner in the past, which is one of the biggest things about playing quarterback. And it seems like they're playing for him right now.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard. Any team led by Nick Foles, I kind of want to dismiss. But I mean, we'll see. As you say, the defense is really good. You just got to hope for their sake there isn't a game where you need Foles to win it for you, because I don't know if he's got it in him.
No, probably not. Probably not. I don't think he does. And that's what's going to hurt them when they play better teams. Are they going to struggle in that area? Are they going to be able to, in the playoffs, if a team, if they come across, I want to see them play Green Bay. When do they play Green Bay? I'm pretty sure they're playing very soon.
No, they're actually not.
They play the Rams next week.
Yeah, so they go Rams, Saints, Titans, Vikings, Packers, Lions
Rams,
again.
Titans, if that's going to be like in my mind, they should lose all 3 of them. Like, Rams are coming off a bad loss. You got the Saints and the Titans are both pretty good teams. We're going to know in the next few weeks where they're at, because I certainly don't think I don't know. I just think it's someone taking them a little bit seriously, because I think they're going to be in the playoffs. Unfortunately, I don't think they're that good, but they're going to be in the playoffs. So,
well, they've got games against the Vikings, Lions, Vikings again, Jags, and Texans still to come. There's 3 wins in there. They've already got 5.
Yeah.
There's 8. They're in. Like that's what it's going to be.
They've done a good job of winning winnable games early. They've set themselves right up. Do they get to play the Jets?
No, they don't.
Okay. The Jets could be 0-16. Honestly, there's a real chance they don't win a game this year. I know it's hard, but they're knocking on the door of that, and Adam Gase still has a job.
Well, I think the reason they don't want to fire him is they want that for number 1 pick. If they fire him, they might get good. Like, he's their ticket to last place. They're not going to fuck that up.
It's true. That's true. He said, Adam Gase, ticket to last place. That should be his motto.
Put it on his top.
He makes some T-shirts.
Yeah.
The Steelers, we were talking Browns last week. You didn't put them in your mulligans. They get absolutely dismantled by the Pittsburgh Steelers. Baker's dreadful. He gets drilled. He then gets benched. It was a bit of a Jimmy Garoppolo from last week. It's like, this guy's not playing that well and he's a little bit dinged up. Maybe we should just get him out of the game and help protect him here. But he's not playing well. And the Steelers, they went in and said, all right, we're going to stop you running the ball. If you can't run the ball, let's see if you can beat us by passing it. And all of a sudden, what did we start to see, Richie? Odell Beckham on the sideline carrying on. You had Jarvis Landry on the sideline carrying on. The same little culture problems we saw last year just trickling back into that team because they were losing. And it was red flags for me. It was like, Pittsburgh are a good team. They're going to touch up a few teams this year. They're a good football team. That's not it's the way it happens with the Browns. They implode and they all just stop trying. And that's why when they get behind a little bit, they just get pumped every time. It's a real negative culture.
Yeah, and it really seemed like the new coaching staff, new GM, like they'd really cleaned out house.
Yeah.
It really did look like they had turned that around. to, it really seemed like it was pointing in the right direction. But yeah, turning back to Mayfield, it really is starting to feel like he doesn't have it. And
well, he's coming up. I've got some questions of him coming up a bit later in our next segment about him.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's got they've got a 5th-year option, which they need to think about exercising. This is his 3rd year, and the problem is that draft that he was in was quarterback loaded. I mean, I think there was something like
none of them have turned out that. Other than Lamar Jackson has turned out well. Josh Allen looks okay now, but who was it? Was it Josh Rosen's not even? Is he on the Dolphins still? He's somewhere still. You got Darnold and Baker.
Josh Allen was in that draft, and Sam Darnold was in that draft as well. Yeah. I mean, that was the 3 and the 6 pick, I think, off the top of my head. And they go and take Baker first. I don't know. You just,
you have good at times. I just think, I don't know. It's hard to say, does he need to focus more? What is it? Because he hasn't really done anything to upset anyone. That's like, I think the problem is the nucleus of that team. And when you have Odell Beckham has proved, even when Odell Beckham was at the Giants, they were a bad team. He was a really good player, but they were a terrible football team. They didn't win a lot. There's Jarvis Landry, when he was at the Dolphins, were they a good team? Were they doing playoff runs and looking real good? No, they were terrible. They've got a lot of guys there that have come from me cultures, because Odell Beckham left the Giants thinking he was the biggest hero in the world. But really, he had great statistics and was a great player, but didn't do anything for the team. Didn't do anything. Didn't get them any wins. There's just a bad culture there. I don't think it's all on Baker. I think that, as I said, it's only one. It's a bad loss to a division rival who, are very good. The Steelers look very good right now. So maybe we're reading into it a bit too much, but it's hard when the Browns, when a team that 2 years ago went 0-16, it's hard to then have confidence when they have a loss like this. You just instantly all the same things you're used to seeing from them start coming back. And there was a lot. There was stuff on the sideline that bothered me the most after that loss.
Yeah, I mean, they've got Cincinnati next week, I think, for the second time. They've got the Raiders and the Texans. If they win all 3, who knows? Who knows who they could be? But burying the lead, Titans Steelers next week. Game of the week. Can't wait.
That's gonna be awesome. Is that it's a 4 a.m. game? Are you kidding me, NFL? They need to start flexing games again for afternoon. What are the games in the afternoon? You've got
the afternoon games this week were terrible. Besides the Buck one, but it turned out to be a terrible game.
Chiefs, Broncos, Niners, Patriots. That's not bad. Seahawks, Cardinals isn't bad actually in the later slot. Jags, Chargers is really the only bad one, so it's not too bad. And then your boys against the Raiders is the Monday night game. That'll be good. Let's go on. Jimmy G, bounce back game, gets a big win over the division rival Rams. The Niners, they're dinged up. They're struggling. That was a real big win for them. And it was good to get Jimmy Garoppolo some confidence back. He played really well in the first half, and they kind of just coasted in the second half, ran that clock out, and didn't give them much of a chance. And they're trying to stay alive in the NFC West right now, which is really hot right now. So it'll be tough. But I think Patriots next week, Garoppolo can play well again. They're just so sorry, just hit my mic. They're just so injured right now, the 49ers. And I don't know. I think you're right. I don't think they're going to make the playoffs. I think they're going to struggle just because Cardinals are 4-2, Rams are 4-2, and the Seahawks are 5-0. They're fourth in their division. The win over the Rams helped, but you're going to have to rely on the Bears beating the Rams next week and then you getting a win over the Patriots. And I just think the injuries are starting to add up. So we'll see. I've got a lot of faith. I've got a lot of faith in Kyle Shanahan. I think he can get a lot done. George Kittle's the best tight end in the league, if you ask me. And they've got some absolute speedsters running around at, Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk. They've got some speedsters running around, but they're dinged up on defense. And, is Jimmy Garoppolo a shootout-style quarterback? I don't think he is. I don't think he's going to win a lot of shootouts.
No. That entire game plan was designed to stop Aaron Donald. You got double team on every single play and often triple teamed. It was insane.
If
But
Aaron Donald gets after that game when they're watching the tape with the other D line and he's just looking around at him going, really? Like, fucking really?
yeah, there's 3 of them blocking me. Where the hell are you guys?
One-on-one with a running back, and you can't just like win that every now and again, so they don't have to bloody triple team me every time. Like, really? Like, I'd be furious if I was him. I'm just in that room going, like, guys, literally, there's not enough guys to block the rest of you, and you still can't get pressure.
Yeah, I don't know if
they could have done something.
The Rams are.
They could have blitzed more to help with
That's
that.
the thing. I don't know if the Rams are bad, but they had a bad game. So we'll see if they can have a bounce back game next week.
And they've looked good all year. And I said that a right game division. We always say division games are always very unpredictable.
They get split all the time.
Yeah, very unpredictable. Bills. So we talked, pretty positively about them last week and the week before. They lose to the Titans last week, and then they get done by the Chiefs today. You'd think when you get beaten by the Chiefs, it's Mahomes that's going to do the damage. 240 rushing yards on them today. I watched this game. It was mental. Edwards-Helaire averaged something like 6.5 yards per carry. Every time they ran the ball, they knifed them. The Buffalo Bills defense is really bad, and they have almost no running game. So all the pressure in games like this where they fall behind, it all gets put on Josh Allen. And I just don't think he's there yet. I think Josh Allen's great when he plays with the lead and they can do all those fun running plays with him and, they get that momentum. They're still very young as well, which doesn't help them. Young teams, when they fall behind, tend to struggle. And they've got a couple of injuries, but no worse than anyone else in this league has. There's some cracks starting to show. And they got to get it right. And Josh Allen, I really like him. The way he comes out after games. He came out today and said, I wasn't good enough today. I need to, threw 2 interceptions. One of them wasn't even his fault, but he took ownership of it and said, I can't make mistakes like that and put our team in a hole and put our team behind, especially against, Patrick Mahomes. But he did. And he did last week too. So every time they play a good team, this can't be the same old storyline, because do you know what happens? You just become a really good regular season team. You win your 10 games every year, make the playoffs, and then lose in the first week. That's what you become if you do that. And I'm worried where they're going.
And you remember when we spoke about them a few weeks ago, we talked about who they played.
Yeah.
Jets, Dolphins, Rams, and they nearly gave that game away and beat the Raiders at home, which may turn out to be a better win than it initially might have been. But, the Red Hot Titans smoked them. Then, I think the Chiefs are just a better team, but, they didn't really hang with them. It wasn't as close as that scoreline actually makes it look.
The Chiefs defense isn't that good. That's what annoys me. You can't get beaten up like that by a Chiefs defense. I just don't think they're that talented. And they got and then this week they're going to play. I'm pretty sure they got the Jets again. But then they get. But then there's some New York.
Oh yeah, whatever. They're from New York too, mate. Then. Yeah, there's some meat in their schedule. So, just pulling it up, Patriots, Seahawks, Cardinals, Chargers, although they host them. They've got to go to the 49ers. So, clearly they play the West teams this year in their cross. But, there's some tougher games coming up. But that being said, we talk about banked wins. I've already got 4. It's the AFC. Yep. I don't think 7 will do it, but 8 probably will.
And you know what? A team that sneaky coming back, Miami Dolphins are 3-3 now. Now, I know they tout up the Jets, who are terrible, but they're 3-3, and their losses are against the Patriots and the Bills and one other good team. Can't quite remember. They haven't lost again. The AFC East is now all of a sudden becoming
Seahawks.
The Seahawks.
Dolphins lost the Seahawks.
They're you talk about not bad losses. They're 3 teams that no one's going to drag you over hot coals for losing to them. They're pretty good football teams. So they're kind of coming good as well. So Buffalo, they've got to play the Dolphins twice still, don't they? Or have they beaten? Did Buffalo beat them once already?
Who, sorry?
Have the Dolphins played Buffalo yet?
Week 2.
So they've already played them once, but they've got to play them again. They're no slouch. But as I said,
last game of the year
already. What they don't want to do is drop the next 2. I don't think they're going to lose to the Jets. I can't see that world. But, you beat the Jets and then drop 2, and all of a sudden, you're almost at 500 halfway through the season, and then pressure starts to mount. It's like, hold on a second, we won 5 of our first 6 games, and now all of a sudden we're at 500. This is not good, and that's when guys like Josh Allen can start to fall apart, I think. So, I just think there's some issues with the Bills. Not saying they can't get them right. It's just that the last couple of weeks playing some better football teams has really showed that they need to improve on some things, and defense is one of them, and running the ball. They've got to get better at running the football. They can't have games like that where they just don't get almost no running game. You can't put that pressure on Josh Allen right now. He's not up to it at that level. So
no, he's not elite.
No, I don't think he is. I don't think he is either. Excuse me. Richie, new game for this week. So we talk about constantly quarterbacks. We constantly say, if you had the first overall pick this year, do you give up on so-so? So I want to play to give up or to not give up. All right? I'm going to name a quarterback, and I want you to think this year, if they've got an opportunity to grab a franchise quarterback in the draft, so a guy they believe, Lawrence is obviously the guy coming to mind, but there's going to be a couple that bob up come late in the year. There'll be 2 or 3 quarterbacks in the first round. Should they give up on the guy that I'm saying and take a chance on these new guys, or would you stick with these guys and see what you've got in them? All right?
All right.
Starting with the team that I'm almost 98% certain are going to have the number 1 overall pick and have a big chance at Lawrence, Sam Darnold. Would you stick with him or would you move on?
I would move on, but it's not his fault. So if I'm the Jets and I got the first overall pick, you have to take Lawrence, use him and start building around him, fresh start, all the rest of it, fire the coach. No, you just move Sam Darnold on. Somebody will give you some collateral for him. But yes, I'd move on from Sam Darnold, but it's not his fault, and I do think that he can still be a good quarterback in the league.
All right. Gardner Minshew of the Jaguars.
Definitely move on from the Fu Manchu. Let's not forget he's a 6th-round pick. Yeah. Like he's not a high pick
for a reason.
With a lot of collateral or anything like that. The thing about him, I'd keep him around, but I would, if I had the chance to get the new elite quarterback, that's what I'm doing.
Yeah, he lacks a lot of the tangible skills. Is that right? Yeah, he lacks a lot of the tangible skills. I think he's got all the intangible skills in the world. He's a lot of fun. Teams like him. He's got a lot of heart. He plays hard. He doesn't stop, but he just doesn't have those tangible skills that a good NFL quarterback needs. And yeah, the Jaguars got a lot of issues. Do you think they could get sucked into, though, if someone came and offered them if they had the number 1 pick, say, and someone just came and offered them a whole bunch of stuff, could they get sucked into being like, well, let's just ride out Minshew for 1 more year and see?
Well, here's the thing. If you've got a lot of first rounders in that package that, you're getting the King's ransom for, like an RG3 type trade up, then give me all those first round picks, because first round picks are starting O lineman and D lineman. And then you can wait a year. You'll probably still suck the year after too. But you're starting to get talent in the trenches. You might be able to get the QB the year after. If someone comes to you with a real King's ransom, just take the King's ransom.
Yep. All right. Derek Carr from Las Vegas.
Nah, no way. Give me Carr. No problem.
I'm so happy you said that. I was hoping.
Keep on rolling.
A lot of people don't like Derek Carr. A lot of people
I know.
The opportunity to get someone. I like him.
Yeah, me too.
And I think him and Gruden are just getting. I said Gruden's one of those guys that notoriously has a very difficult offense to run. It takes a while to learn. He's in his 3rd year. Let's not remember last year there was just a little bit of turmoil in the preseason with their superstar wide receiver they'd brought in to play for them. A little bit because he couldn't wear it.
They're getting him some weapons now, and they've got a guy who can take the top off the defense, which takes pressure away from the underneath.
A good running back, a good O-line.
Running back. Let's keep on rolling.
He's not paid that much. He's got 3 more years left on his deal. Sounds dumb, but they're only paying him $27 million a year. That's like middle of the pack now. When he got paid, everyone was up in arms. So yeah, I'm with you there. Phillip Rivers.
Oh, bye. Yeah, give me the new quarterback.
I just feel like every week I love Phillip Rivers and the way he goes about it, but he just kind of like turns to dust before your eyes. Like he gets worse. And I don't want him to be bad. I love the Colts. I want the Colts to be good, but I can't get around Phillip Rivers at all. I just can't get around him. I just don't think he can. Like they need so much to go right on that offense for him to be a good quarterback because he's just not that guy anymore. Great career. Hall of Famer, do you reckon?
No.
Oh, so do you reckon Eli's a Hall of Famer and he's not?
No, I don't think Eli is either.
Do you think he will be though?
Yes.
Yeah, me too.
But he's not.
Dwayne
you know why? You know my were either one of those two the best in the NFL for even 3 years?
Phillip Rivers was up there. He was a top 3-4 guy for a few years.
Yeah, but that's not what I said.
No, but you can't just have only like you could argue was Drew Brees ever the best quarterback in the league? No,
for a couple of years. Yeah, no, I think he was.
Oh, you reckon he was? So because he had Peyton Manning and Tom Brady.
He had years where he was the elite one.
Never won an MVP.
He's got some Super Bowls though.
1 to 1. He should have at least played in a second one. LA Rams.
Yeah, exactly.
Fucking LA Rams. Drew Lock.
Yeah, I mentioned it earlier. I don't know what it is about him. I'm just not sold. I think he was a second round pick. I think he was in the Fu Manchu draft.
Yeah, he's in with Dwayne Haskins, who we're going to
the 2019 draft. So, look.
A bit early.
The Broncos have been trying to get that position right since Peyton Manning, and they haven't. So they've kept trying to do it with guys they've signed and brought in. They've tried to do it by drafting middle of the pack guys. It ain't working. If they
Lynch in the first round,
exactly,
my God,
exactly. So if they've got the chance to get the consensus number 1 QB, and you got that first pick, you do it. I don't think they'll have that situation this year, but if you do, you take it.
I also really like to see Drew Lock in a year where he doesn't get hurt, fix up his O-line a little. The O-line's dreadful. Fix up the O-line a little bit. Get Cortland Sutton back from injury. Give Jerry Jeudy, his second year in the NFL because receiver's really hard to play in your first year, and Jerry Jeudy's done a good job of it. But get him and Court. Like now, Jerry Jeudy was going to be the second fiddle to Cortland Sutton this year to learn, like kind of what CeeDee Lamb's doing in Dallas, And then all of a sudden, Cortland Sutton's out for the year, and it's like, all right, Jeudy, you're the man. Like you're going to get number 1 coverage. Everyone's going to it's you now. Stephon Gilmore's bloody following him around on the weekend. He wouldn't have been expecting that this season. So I'd like to see Drew Lock have just one more season with everyone around him, fix that O-line a little bit, maybe take a first-round O-line and get him some free agency help, and then make a call because I don't think they're going to be up in the top 5 anyway. So,
well, that's the thing. If we're coming back to your question where you have that number 1 pick and you can get the franchise quarterback, then yes, you do it, but they won't have that situation.
No. If it was why is his name slipping my mind? The Clemson quarterback. I've just said it like 4 times.
Trevor Lawrence.
If it's Trevor Lawrence or Drew Lock, it would be really, really hard to go, yeah, I'm going to back in Drew Lock, Be really difficult. Dwayne Haskins, I think I know the answer to this one.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Do you feel he's a bit hard done by? Like I watched the Washington game. Kyle Allen is a terrible quarterback. Terrible quarterback. Alex Smith is broken and old, and they still won't put him. They took Dwayne Haskins from starting on one of the worst the worst offense in the NFL, the starter there. Now, some of that's his fault, but they're not necessarily talented on offense. They didn't just bench him. They've put him to 3rd string. He's now the inactive. I kind of smell a Ron Rivera. I don't like this guy. Ron Rivera also bought Kyle Allen over from Carolina. Like, it smells a bit, he's not my guy situation.
It's 100% what it is.
In saying that, Haskins hasn't been good, but there's been guys that have been way worse than him and kept a job longer than he has.
I think they reached up to get him, and I'm pretty sure it was the old guard who did it. It's not the new guys, not the current staff. And he's just not their guy. So
you think he has
they're done.
As a starter?
Probably not. And as much as I hate to say it, like quarterbacks tend not to get second chances. Whereas I don't know why, but white guys seem to be able to go around the league as backups. It just seems to be the case. I think when this current team's done with Haskins, they'll let him go. He's first round pick 15. So they're even going to get a 5th-year option on him, which they're obviously not going to exercise.
No.
Unless this coaching staff is fired in the meantime.
I don't think the thing is that because he's on a rookie deal, you don't have to walk. You can just draft someone next year and leave him in the room.
Oh, 100%. I'm not saying you cut him tomorrow, but you 100% bring in Lawrence if you have that first pick.
Yeah, agreed. Drew Brees / Jameis Winston. If you're the Saints, I think Brees is done the end of the year no matter what. I don't think he's going to go again next year. Do you roll with Winston or do you take that? You do try and get that next franchise guy?
They've got to try and get the next guy. You have to bring in competition for Winston. You can't just hand him the keys. Like,
say Breeze goes again, right? Winston leaves. Do you draft a guy and go, all right?
100%. You got to bring somebody in. You have to bring someone in.
With Winston, though. I think they're doing that with Winston. I think they want Winston to
maybe
for the year. Like I said, Winston threw for 5,000 yards last year. Now he threw 30 interceptions, so it's hard to defend him. But like 5,000 yards, Rich, that's a lot of yards.
That's because, but it was the same. It's the same reason. It's the same thing. Your mate Dak putting up a ton of yards so far this year. You're always behind, and it was always his fault.
No, we can't bring up Dak. It's too soon.
It's all right, fine. But either way, the reason
on the day where Arizona spank our pants without Dak to save us again, you're going to bring that up. You're going to bring it up like that. You're going to do me like that. Here's the thing. It
probably would have happened again. He would have thrown for a ton of yards because you have to catch up.
Yeah,
and the only difference with Winston was his bloody fault every time. Yeah. So, yes, he threw for a zillion yards because he put them in the position that they had to. Look, I don't know. Maybe that Saints organization can turn him around. But let's say at the time, Tampa's a nice Lexus.
Yep.
That offense down at the Saints, that's a Ferrari. If you want to throw your keys to Jameis Winston with your Ferrari, good luck.
It'd be like, Wolf of Wall Street, when Leonardo DiCaprio has a few drinks, a few lewds, and drives the car home. Drew Brees would have been him driving to the club, and Jameis Winston would be him driving the Ferrari back. That's how bad it would be. But if anyone could do it, it could be Peyton. Daniel Jones, New York.
I don't know what to think of Daniel Jones. I don't have a feel for him at all, and I don't think the NFL does either. As I said, if it's him or Lawrence, give me Lawrence. I'm going to try my luck with the new guy.
I would take my chance on any first-round talent quarterback next year over Daniel Jones. I've watched a lot of Daniel Jones. I just don't. He's got some good tangible skills. He's got a strong arm. He moves well, but he makes way too many mistakes. He's flustered all the time, and he's not that good a quarterback. He might pass statistical tests and all that sort of stuff. His eye test is dreadful. He just does not look like he belongs. And it could get better, but you can't. They blame O-line and this and that for him. They've put a fair bit into that offense.
He was out of Duke, wasn't he? In that 2019 draft.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'd certainly move on.
It makes it harder without your stud running back there, but
but he was bad last year. I think it was rookie year last year, but he was bad last year too. It's not like he's just. The big thing is like quarterbacks they either start really well and then plateau and stay that way, or they jump or they drop. He started bad and just has plateaued bad. If he'd started good and he was just plateaued, like Drew Lock, he's just kind of playing the way he was last year. He hasn't dropped. Josh Allen, he's got a little bit better, but he's kind of consistent at least. You know what you've got. Daniel Jones, you don't know what he's going to do at any point in time. He could just he's hard work. I said I don't rate him at all. I don't.
He's
NFL for a long time.
Yeah, his completion rating and yards per attempt and stuff are almost identical to last year.
He just doesn't. He hasn't got any. I'm watching him going. And if I was a Giants fan, I'd be infuriated by it. Because I'd be watching him going, give me something to make me think you're better now. But there's nothing. He shows nothing. And he played a lot of games last year. And he's not shown any improvement. He's just the same guy. And that's a big red flag for me. Yeah. Last guy, and I said we'd bring him up, Baker. Now, your wife's going to listen to this, Rich. So she hates Baker.
I love the way you think She listens. She doesn't hate Baker. She hates the fact they took him when they could have had Lamar.
Everyone does.
That's what she hates. And
you know what sucks? That 4 teams took quarterbacks over Lamar Jackson that year.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if
everyone knew he was the best quarterback in the draft. It felt like everyone thought that. I don't know.
I think you remember the discussion she had with you and me. It might have been 2 days before the draft when we were hanging out. She's like, "I've got the worst feeling they're gonna fuck this up and take Baker."
Yeah, I remember. And I remember sitting there going, "No way! There's no. If worst case, they'll take Darnold.
That's what we all thought.
They'll take Darnold for sure. Darnold's the safe pick. It's what they'll do. They won't take Lamar, but they're going to take Darnold." And she was like, "No, they're going to take Baker Mayfield. I'll never forget it."
As much as my wife tends to know what she's talking about when it comes to football. I can line plenty of guys up who know less than her. And she just won't let that one go. She's so annoyed about it. I think...
Would you tell it all, or would you give him another chance?
The hard thing is, because he's a he's first overall, he ain't cheap. And that 5th-year option will be expensive.
Yeah.
But at the same time, they're not going to finish low enough to get the elite guy coming out. So you don't want to get in that situation where they were before, where they were always drafting QBs in the middle of the first round and things like that. Those guys just often tend not to pan out.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like, I really don't know.
I wouldn't move on from him. I'd give him one more because they're not going to have a chance at Lawrence. I wouldn't move on from him for another guy.
And there's no veterans. There's no veterans you can bring in.
I'm sure Phillip Rivers will be available.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be doing that. That's worse. I wouldn't bring Winston in. I wouldn't bring Cam in.
No, he's shown enough in Cleveland to give him more. He's shown, out of all these guys all the young guys I've talked about, he's shown more good moments than a lot of them.
And there's some good talent there. I'd give this new coaching staff a chance with him.
Yeah. We'll see how it goes from there. That's it. That's all of them. So we've decided. It's weird. Like, you think about teams that have given up on quarterbacks. Obviously, it really paid off for Arizona, but giving up on Rosen. But you're 100% right. Teams just, if you're a quarterback that, especially a first round pick, if you fail at your first team, it very rarely do you come back around and have success anywhere else. I'm trying to think off the top of my head anyone who's ever had that success.
Yeah, I mean, there's journeymen, but they never
start. They never become like Pro Bowl.
Brett Favre, there's one.
Yeah. Oh, I guess you could say Drew Brees did because he wasn't.
But he was good. Hurt. He was good, and he got hurt, and they drafted the young replacement, and
he was only good the year they drafted Rivers. That's when he was good. And then he got hurt, and it was like, well, do we want to back in this guy or the 4th overall pick? I think we're gonna. It's not often guys get another opportunity. Do you reckon sliding doors moments? You go back now. Do you reckon the Chargers stayed with Drew Brees, or do you reckon they were happy with Phillip Rivers for those?
No. See, you're wrong. The sliding door moment of that whole situation is the Miami Dolphins with Nick Saban, and they took Dante Culpepper because their doctor cleared Dante, and they didn't clear Brees.
Yep.
Can you imagine Brees ended up in Miami and had the career that he has had? Take the winning away, but just playing that well.
Yeah.
Would Nick Saban still be in the NFL? Would Nick Saban still be in the NFL? Like, that is the ultimate sliding doors moment. That doctor in Miami, if you hate Alabama football, it's that guy's fault. It is that doctor's fault.
Yeah. It's a big moment. It was huge.
I reckon that was one of the most amazing moments.
Who was outstanding at Minnesota, like absolutely outstanding. One of those big, injury literally ruined his career. He was
100%.
I do remember that. Miami. Would the Chargers do it? Would the Chargers keep Brees over Rivers though? Do you think? Well, I wouldn't. If I was the Chargers, I'd be like, nah, Rivers gave us a lot of good years. It wasn't his fault we couldn't win in big games.
Yeah, the only thing, they drafted their future. And that was back in the days where your rookie would sit for a year behind a veteran. That's what the plan always was going to be.
You paid them big money up front. You didn't pay. You took a rookie quarterback number 1 overall.
100% was before the rookie wage scale.
$8 million a year straight away. Like there was no, you get them for 4 years pretty cheap. It was big money, and they could negotiate. Mums and dads got involved. Remember the days mums and dads getting involved? No, it's worth more. It was wild. But that's it, Rich. That's it for the show. Thank you very much for being here. Our lockdowns are starting to ease up, so at some point soon you might see me and Richie in the same room together. It would be
probably not, but
you might though. You might, or you might catch us at a park because that's what we tend to do now because we're cool.
Well, at least now we don't have to pretend we accidentally turned up in the same place.
As I live and breathe Richard Garraway. What a surprise!
Oh my god, I can't believe you're here with your kids.
I can't believe you're at the same park, exactly 4.6 kilometers away from each other. This is incredible. No, thank you to everyone out there. Make sure you get over. Follow Burnley Brewing on all their stuff. 648 Bridge Road, Richmond. If you're in Melbourne, they open up in 2 weeks' time again. 1st November, they're allowed to open up. So start booking in, get in there, get a meal, have a beer, go and support them. Breaking Memorabilia. Please go onto Patreon, sign up for that $10 a month Patreon account. As I said, it's a chance to win a massive helmet every month. There's only about 7 people signed up right now. So odds are pretty good right now if you want to win that helmet. So get on there, sign yourself up. Thank you to our sponsors. You're all unbelievable. If you want to know where to find them, description, whether you're listening to the podcast, watching the YouTube video, looking on social media, all the descriptions are there for our sponsors. So go and show them some love like they show us. And Richie, I will talk to you next Tuesday.
Hey, mate.